All right, so you're thinking about maybe getting your business listed on that profitableday.com directory, but you want to know if it's really worth it.
Yeah, if it's really going to make a difference.
Exactly. Like, could it actually help, get you more customers? Is it going to be worth the cost? And are you even going to be in there with, businesses like yours?
Right. Like, are you going to be the only plumber in a sea of, dentists or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we're going to try and figure out today in this deep dive. We're going to be looking at profitableday.com, specifically just going through some of the stuff they say on their own website to see if we can answer these questions for you.
And hopefully by the end of this, you'll know, whether you should look into it further or if it's just not the right fit for you.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What even is a business search directory?
Right. Good question.
I mean, we all kind of have an idea, but, profitableday.com doesn't actually put a definition right there on their page. We do see a link for, what is a business search directory? So they clearly explain it somewhere.
Yeah. So we can probably assume it's, one of those online hubs where lots of different businesses can list themselves so that customers can find them more easily.
Right. Makes sense. So basically it's like, a big digital phone book in a way.
Exactly. But instead of just names and numbers, you can have links to websites, social media, all that good stuff.
And at profitableday.com, they're pretty bold about it. They say, being listed in our directory is like having a second website.
That's a big claim.
Yeah, right. It is a big claim. So let's see what they're basing that on. If you look at the part where they list the benefits of listing your business, they do talk about being able to include links to your social media pages, all your contact info, your business hours, and obviously a link to your main website.
So it's kind of like creating this extra online presence for your business, another place where people can find you.
Right. And another thing I noticed right away is that they have those Get Listed Now buttons all over the place. So it seems like they've tried to make it super easy to sign up.
Yeah, streamlining that whole process.
Exactly. So, maybe that's part of how they justify that second website idea. It does make it seem really accessible.
Yeah, for sure. But, all right, so let's say you do decide to list your business. What kind of benefits are they saying you might actually get?
Okay, so one of the first things they mention is increased online visibility, which makes sense, right? You're basically putting your business out there on a platform that hopefully lots of people are using.
Yeah, and they specifically say that business directories are often well indexed by search engines.
So the thinking there is that if someone's, searching for something related to your business on Google or whatever you're listing on profitableday.com might actually pop up in the results.
Right, so it can help you get discovered more easily.
Exactly. And then they also talk about backlink opportunities.
Yeah, that's important for SEO.
Right. Because basically what that means is that profitableday.com would be linking back to your website and search engines like Google. They look at those backlinks as kind of like votes of confidence.
So the more high-quality websites that are linking to you, the more Google might think, hey, this website must be pretty good, and that could help you rank higher in their search results.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be a big deal for getting more organic traffic to your site.
Absolutely. And it makes sense that they'd highlight that because SEO is so important these days.
Oh, for sure. You've got to make sure people can actually find you online.
Okay, so increased visibility. That's a good start. What else do they emphasize?
So they also talk about enhanced credibility and trust.
Interesting.
Yeah, the idea being that if you're listed on like a legitimate looking business directory, it might make your business seem more, trustworthy to potential customers.
Right, so it's kind of like a seal of approval in a way.
Exactly. And then there's also just the basic convenience factor. They say accessibility of information, basically meaning that all your contact details, your hours, your website link, it's all right there in one place.
Yeah, that makes it easier for customers to reach you.
Right. No more, digging around for different pieces of information.
Yeah. And they also suggest a competitive advantage. If your competitors aren't listed, you might stand out.
Right. Good point. It could be a way to differentiate yourself, especially if you're in a really crowded market.
And it's interesting, they have blog posts on their site with titles like Spoke to Success and Unlocking New Customers and Boost Your Online Presence.
Oh, yeah, I saw those.
So it seems like they really focus on how being in a directory can help you get noticed and grow your business.
Right. It's all about that visibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so visibility sounds good in theory, but let's talk about the practical stuff here. Like, is this going to key cost effective?
Right. That's the big question.
Yeah.
And luckily, they do give us a pretty clear answer. On their site, they have a heading that says, why be listed in a directory for $4.95 per month, your second website?
Okay, so $4.95 a month, that's the basic price for a listing.
Right. And that's not, a huge expense.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
But you still want to make sure it's worth it.
Exactly. So think about all the things they're claiming, right? A second website, increased visibility, those backlinks, enhanced trust. And then weigh that against that $4.95 monthly cost.
Right. Does that seem worth it to you?
It really depends on your business, and you know what you're hoping to achieve.
Exactly. If just having that extra online presence and maybe a little SEO boost is valuable to you, then maybe it is a good deal.
But if you're expecting, tons of new customers right away for $4.95 a month, well, you might be disappointed.
Right. It's all about managing expectations and figuring out what's actually valuable for your specific business.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now the big question that's probably on a lot of people's minds, is a even going to have businesses like mine listed on there?
Right. Are you going to fit in?
Exactly. So to get an idea of that, we could look at their top-rated businesses worldwide section, which shows a bunch of different types of companies that are already using the directory.
So what kind of businesses are we seeing in there?
Okay, so just glancing through the list, we've got dentists, movers, dumpster rental places, digital signage providers, auto repair shops, real estate agencies, legal services, construction firms.
Okay, pretty diverse so far.
Oh, yeah, it's all over the place. We've also got food services like restaurants and cafes,
Yeah.
general business services, beauty salons. It's really a wide range.
That does suggest that they're not just focused on a super niche market.
Right. It seems like they're trying to attract a lot of different types of businesses.
And there's a category section, too.
Yeah, I saw that.
We only see a few examples in our excerpt. Aged care and community services, agriculture and farming, farm equipment.
Right, but the fact that they have categories at all means they are grouping businesses together by industry.
Right, so you're more likely to be found by people who are specifically looking for what you offer.
And they even say showing 15 of 10 categories, so
Fair.
there are clearly even more that we're not seeing here.
Interesting. So it's not just about the type of business, but also the location, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They have a ton of location-based listings.
Mm-hmm. Tons. We see Oregon Coast, Bandon, Portland, Oregon, and then a whole bunch more for other places along the Oregon coast.
And it goes beyond that, too. They mention listings in countries like the USA, India, Australia, the UK.
Right, and they call out specific states like California, Texas, Florida. So they definitely have a pretty broad geographical reach.
But here's the thing, though, and this is super important. The information we have here doesn't let you actually search the directory.
Right, it's just a snapshot.
Exactly. So we can't say for sure, based on this excerpt, if your specific type of business is listed in your specific local area.
Right. That's something you'd have to go on a profitableday.com and check for yourself.
Yeah. Do a targeted search and see what comes up.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but are there any other kind of like red flags or limitations that we should mention?
Yeah, definitely. So remember, this is just based on what a profitableday.com is saying about themselves.
Right, it's their marketing material, essentially.
Exactly. So there's always that, take it with a grain of salt kind of thing.
Right. Oh, for sure. And one thing that stood out to me was that link that says Top Heat 10.
Yeah. What's that all about?
Well, it makes me think that they probably have different tiers of listings.
Yeah.
Maybe some with more features or greater visibility.
They're probably different price points, too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Our excerpt doesn't give us any details about that, but it's definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah, you don't want to assume that $4.95 a month is the only option.
And then there's also a section titled Advertise Your Business.
Ah, so they're not just a directory, they're also selling advertising.
Right. Which, again, we don't have specifics about, but it's another thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, it seems like there might be more ways to promote your business on there than just having that basic listing.
Okay, so let's sum this all up.
Mm-hmm.
We've looked at aprofitableday.com based on what they're telling us, and it seems like their main goal is to help businesses increase their online visibility.
Right, make it easier for people to find them.
Exactly. And they claim that their directory is like having a second website for your business. They talk about SEO benefits, backlinks, enhanced trust, all that good stuff.
And they have a really diverse range of businesses listed across many different locations.
And that starting price of $4.95 a month is pretty appealing.
Yeah, it's definitely not a huge investment.
But here's the key takeaway. The decision of whether or not to use aprofitableday.com really comes down to you.
Right. It's about your specific business, your goals, your target audience.
Exactly. And you really need to go on there yourself and see if there are even businesses like yours listed in your area.
Yeah, don't just rely on what they're saying in their marketing materials.
And keep in mind that there might be other listing options and advertising opportunities that we haven't even talked about.
So do your research and make an informed decision.
Absolutely. So as you're thinking about this, here's a final question for you. Consider that potential for increased visibility and that low starting cost. But then ask yourself, what are the specific metrics you would track to determine if a profitableday.com was actually making a difference for your business?
Right. Like, are you looking for more website visits, more phone calls, more actual sales?
Exactly. What are the key indicators that would tell you this is a worthwhile investment?
That's the real measure of success.
For sure. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into a profitableday.com. We hope this has given you some food for thought.
Yeah, and helped you figure out if it's something you want to explore further.